I never thought dying would feel like this, waking up in my best friend's skin. Her laughter echoing in my skull like a bad hangover, while my own body parades around in my life, stealing everything I bled for. The boardroom betrayal hit harder than the aneurysm they pinned on me. It was Sarah, my ride or die since college, who dosed me with that experimental neural swap tech during our girls' trip to Vegas, all to cover her embezzlement scam. And now, as I claw my way back from the grave of her mediocre existence, I'm not just out for blood. I'm rewriting the rules of revenge, one hacked firewall and forged signature at a time. She returned from vacation to find herself locked out of her own office. Shocked and helpless. That's the line they'll whisper in the headlines when this all blows up. But I wasn't on vacation. I was dead. Or close enough. The last thing I remembered was the glint of that champagne flute in Sarah's hand, toasting to our 10-year partnership at Apex Innovations, the hottest AI startup in Silicon Valley's shadow, Chicago's answer to the Valley. All glass towers and cutthroat ambition. We'd built it from a garage hackathon into a billion-dollar beast. Me as the visionary CTO. Her as the slick COO. Sisters in code. Or so I thought. The swap happened in a blur of strobe lights and synth beats at that underground club off the strip. Sarah had pitched it as harmless fun, a black market neural interface. The kind whispered about in dark web forums. Promising empathy immersion for executives, swap perspectives for a night to deepen bonds. Bullshit. It was her escape hatch. I'd been carrying the weight of our biggest fuck-up, the ShadowNet glitch. A backdoor in our AI ethics software that leaked user data to foreign bidders. I took the fall publicly, resigned in tears on a live CNBC panel, swearing it was my oversight to shield the company. Shield her. She was the one who'd greenlit the shady code, chasing venture capital kickbacks, but I loved her like family. So I ate the blame, watched my stock options tank, and planned our redemption arc. But Sarah? She saw opportunity in my sacrifice. With me sidelined, vulnerable on sabbatical, she spiked my drink with a permanent swap protocol, some rogue neurotoxin variant cooked up by her lover. Dr. Elias Crow, Apex's shadowy chief scientist. One gasp, one blackout, and boom, I woke up in her body, pounding heart in a penthouse suite, her phone buzzing with alerts about my sudden medical emergency. Meanwhile, in my skin, she was already rewriting board minutes, liquidating my assets, and locking down my C-suite access. The hospital discharge papers said Abigail Hayes, 34, CTO of Apex, suffered a fatal aneurysm en route from Vegas. Coma. Organ failure. DNR signed by next of kin, Sarah. Posing as me. Cremation scheduled. My funeral was a quiet affair. Zoom eulogies from investors praising my brilliant but tragic legacy. Sarah, in my body, delivered the keynote, tears glistening under the stage lights, vowing to honor my vision. The bitch even wore my favorite pearl earrings. I clawed out of her life like a mole from dirt. Her body was softer, slower, yoga-toned, but no match for my runner's frame. Her wardrobe screamed performative feminism, power blazers over yoga pants, heels I could barely walk in without twisting an ankle. Her apartment? A sterile loft in Wicker Park, all exposed brick and succulents, hiding drawers full of burner phones and encrypted drives. The first night, I hacked her laptop. Old habits die hard and found the logs, transfer confirmations for $50 million in laundered funds, funneled through ShadowNet to offshore shells. Elias's emails, laced with pillow talk tenderness. Once Abby's out, were golden. No more hiding. Rage tasted like battery acid. But rage alone doesn't code a comeback. I needed proof, leverage, and a way to flip the switch back. Sarah had always underestimated me. I was the tech wizard. She the schmoozer. In her skin, I played the grieving widow, cancelled her brunches, ghosted her lovers, and dove into the dark pools of Apex's underbelly. By day 3, I'd spoofed her credentials to access the Neural Lab's archives. The swap tech wasn't magic. It was quantum entanglement via nanoscale implants, Crow's pet project, buried in R&D for therapeutic body dysmorphia. Reversible, if you had the admin keys and the kill code. But Sarah was steps ahead, as always. My first move as interim CEO, a merger with Crowtech, Elias's vanity firm, folding our IP into his empire. Board vote tomorrow. If it passed, Apex would be gutted. My legacy a footnote. I couldn't let that slide. Controversial decision number 1. I leaked a teaser of the embezzlement to an anonymous FinTwit account, framing it as insider whistleblowing on Hayes' mismanagement. Watched the stock dip 8% overnight. Investors howling for audits. Sarah's response? A presser in my voice, decrying sabotage by disgruntled ex-employees. She looked good doing it, poised, predatory. My sharp jawline cutting through the camera like a knife. I holed up in a no-tell motel off Lakeshore Drive, the kind with flickering neons and hourly rates. Her Amex footing the bill until it got flagged. Nights blurred into caffeine-fueled marathons, reverse engineering the swap protocol on a borrowed laptop, cross-referencing with leaked DARPA docs on neural hijacking. The ethics gnawed at me. This tech could rewrite lives. Consent be damned, but fuck ethics. Sarah had stolen mine. By dawn on day 5, I had a crude reverser, a jury-rigged injector, scavenged parts from a medical city dumpster dive. Risky as hell, 50/50th chance of frying both brains, but sitting duck wasn't my style. The real hook sank in when I confronted Elias. I'd catfished him using Sarah's nudes from her cloud, sleazy. Yeah, but war's sturdy. He bit. Meeting at a dive bar in Pilsen. Murals of Aztec warriors watching like ghosts. In her body, I slinked in, all sultry whispers and red lipstick, until I leaned close and murmured, "Tell me how it feels to fuck a dead woman's shadow." His face strained, recognition flickering before I jammed a taser from her purse into his ribs. Zip-tied in the alley. He spilled. Sarah's plan wasn't just money, it was erasure. The ShadowNet leak? Her test run for a bigger heist, swapping identities with high net worth marks, siphoning fortunes while they rotted in limbo. Me? Prototype. She always said you were too pure for this world. Abby. Now you're just obsolete. I left him breathing, a recorded confession uploading to a dead man's switch. Controversial? Hell yes, vigilante justice in a city choking on corruption. But it bought me an in. His badge got me past Apex security at 2 a.m., ghosting through the atrium like a specter in stilettos. The executive floor hummed with server fans. My old office a shrine to stolen glory, my diplomas reframed, my coffee mug chipped from that all-nighter in 22. Sarah was there, in my skin, asleep on the leather couch, a half-empty scotch glass sweating on the desk. Vulnerable. Mine. The injector hissed against her, my neck, the nanoswarms racing through veins like fire ants. She jolted awake, eyes widening in twin horrors, recognition, then reversal. Bodies convulsing, souls slamming back into home ports. Agony ripped through me as synapses realigned, fingers lengthening, posture straightening, the world sharpening into my focus. When it cleared, I was me again, straddling her crumpled form, now trapped in the vessel she'd discarded. "You bitch," she gasped, voice mine but laced with her wine. "We could have shared it all." Shared, I laughed, bitter as Chicago wind. "You took my name, my face, my fucking future. For what? A penthouse view?" Her eyes darted, calculating. "Even now. The board. They'll never believe." I silenced her with a gag from the desk drawer, ironic. Her own Hermes scarf. But dawn broke with complications. Security cams had caught the scuffle, alerts blared. And Elias? His body discovered in the alley. Suicide note forged by Sarah's hand. But forensics would unravel that. I had minutes. Decision 2. Torch it all. I uploaded the full confession trove to WikiLeaks, embezzlement trails, swap schematics, board bribes. Apex stock cratered 40% pre-market. Sarah thrashed as I dragged her to the window, the city sprawling below like a chessboard I'd appended. "You don't have to do this," she pleaded through the silk. "We're the same."
No.
We weren't. I was the one who'd coded ethics into machines while she gamed them. The one who'd covered her ass at the cost of my sanity. As sirens wailed distant, I made her watch the feeds, resignations pouring in, SEC helicopters chopping overhead. Revenge wasn't killing her. That was too clean. Too merciful. It was stripping her bare, letting the system she weaponized devour her. But twists, they say, are the devil's punctuation. As I prepped to bolt, new ID in pocket, came an account siphoned from her slush fund. The door burst open. Not cops. Board chair Harlan Voss. Silver fox with a Luger from his OSS days. Eyes cold as Lake Michigan ice. "Abigail," he drawled. Or should I say, the ghost who wouldn't stay dead. Harlan Voss wasn't just any board chair. He was the ghost in Apex's machine. The venture vulture who'd bankrolled us from day one with strings attached like barbed wire. Old money from steel mills turned tech baron. He embodied that Midwestern ruthlessness, smiles like contracts, handshakes that crushed bones. I'd always suspected his mentorship hid dirtier plays. But seeing him now, pistols steady, confirmed it. He was in on the swap.
Deep.
"Sit," he commanded, gesturing to my desk. My desk. Reclaimed, but tainted. Sarah whimpered from the floor. Forgotten prop. I complied. Slow. Calculating angles. The reverser still buzzed in my veins. Aftershocks making my vision pixelate. "You think this ends with a data dump?"
Cute.
"But leaks are my specialty. Kiddo." His confession came piecemeal. Luger a metronome on the blotter. Voss had greenlit ShadowNet's flaws. Hell. Commissioned them, as a honeypot for state actors, trading user souls for black budget intel. Sarah was his pawn. Elias his mad scientist. And me, collateral. The swap wasn't her idea. Voss had whispered it in her ear over bourbon at the Chicago club, promising absolution if she retired the ethical thorn.
Me.
"You were always too squeaky clean, Abigail." Whistleblowers get weeded out. Permanently. Betrayal layered like Chicago smog. Not just Sarah, but the old guard I'd idolized. Voss had buried scandals before, our first Ern's accident, after she flagged IP theft. A rival founder's heart attack post-buyout. I was next. My public mea culpa on the glitch his alibi.
Now.
With the leaks viral. Feds circling. He needed a fall guy. Or girl. Sign this. He slid a tablet over. Retraction statement glowing. Frame it as a hoax. Your grief-fueled revenge porn. Sarah walks. Elias's suicide sticks. And Apex rebrands under my sole control. Refusal burned my tongue. But survival scripted the play. I nodded. Fingers flying, except I routed the SIG through a mirror server. Timestamping his coercion. Controversial pivot. Play along. Burrow deeper. What's in it for me? I asked. Voice steady as his aim. Everything you lost. Plus 20% equity. Be my shadow CTO, off books. Of course. His grin was wolfish. We're family now.
Family.
The word curdled. I signed. Watched him holster the piece. Cuff Sarah's wrists with zip ties from his pocket. Prepared. Always. Clean this up, he barked to unseen earpiece. Hauling her toward the service elevator. And Abby, don't make me regret this resurrection. Alone. Pulse thundering. I triggered the dead man's switch addendum. Voss's offshore logs. Tied to Russian oligarchs. Beaming to CNN tip lines. But doubt crept. Had I just traded one cage for a gilded one? Her body still hummed with residual code. Scans later would show phantom synapses. Echoes of her malice in my nerves. Sleep was a luxury for the living. I crashed on the couch. Dreams of mirrored faces fracturing like glass. Morning broke with chaos. My phone, resynced to my biometrics, exploded. 147 missed calls. From reporters to my estranged brother in Milwaukee, who'd seen the Abigail alive.
TikToks.
Stock halted. Apex HQ swarmed by feds in windbreakers. I slipped out the garage in a stolen Tesla, Sarah's perk. Ironically, heading west on I-90. Toward the sprawl of exurbs where anonymity hid in plain sight. Revenge Phase 2. Dismantle from the fringes. I rented a basement in Oak Park under a ghost name. Frank Lloyd Wright's legacy, haunting the eaves like my ghosts. Days bled into code sprints, building a worm into Apex's core. ShadowNet 2.0. Designed not to leak, but to expose. It would dox every dirty deal. Every swapped soul in their black site trials. Execs trading bodies for alibis. Politicians evading trials. Ethical?
No.
Cathartic? Like exhaling after drowning. But Sarah haunted the margins. A burner text. You think Voss is the top? Look closer.
Abby.
We're both puppets. Bullshit. Or bait. I traced it to a VPN in Detroit. Her on-the-run vibe reeking of setup. Elias's autopsy hit the wires, not suicide. Poisoned with the same neurotox framed on me. Residue from the injector. Voss's cleanup. Pinning the mad dog. Public enemy now. My face, real one, splashed on Fox loops. Tech Titan returns from dead to murder colleague. Isolation cracked me. I reached out to Jamal. My old coder from the garage days. The one who'd bailed after the glitch fallout. Met in a talk area off 18th Street. Pills and murals judging us. Abby?
Shit.
The news says you're a psycho. His hug was bone-crushed genuine.
Though.
Over Al Pastor tacos. I spilled swap. Betrayal. The works. He believed. Eyes widening at the drive schematics. This is Oppenheimer level. You sure about unleashing it?
No.
But certainty was for corpses. Jamal joined the fray. His basement rig a war room of monitors and Red Bull cans. We refined the worm. Tested on dummy nets.
Nights.
We'd philosophize over bootleg IPAs. Was revenge justice? Or just another glitch? You're playing God. Abs, he'd say. What if it swaps you out next? The worm deployed at midnight. Synced to Apex's quarterly earnings call. Voss on stage. Droning about resilience when screens worldwide flickered. Dossiers dumping his oligarch ties. Sarah's Cayman ledgers. A roster of volunteers who'd vanished into swaps. Waking as strangers in psych wards. Stock imploded. Riots at the exchanges. Apex swap trending with conspiracy vids of me as zombie queen. Sarah surfaced then. Dramatic as a soap opera villain. A video drop on X. Her. Gaunt in a motel mirror. Spilling alternate truth. Abigail didn't die, she stole my life back. But Voss? He forced the swap on both of us. I was protecting her. Lies woven with half-truths. Our college pact. My instability after a bad breakup. How I'd begged her to cover the glitch because I had skimmed code for a side hustle. Gaslight gold. Comments exploded. Team Sarah versus Abby Monster. Feminists decrying my toxic ambition. Tech bros hailing the hack as legend. It stung, deeper than the implant scars itching my scalp. Had I? The side hustle was real. A freelance AI ethic audit for a nonprofit. Pennies next to her millions. But doubt festered. Jamal pulled footage. Pre-swap security cam. Me handing her the champagne. Laughing. Who spiked who? Memory blurred. Neural echoes gaslighting me. Climax brewed in a storm-lashed warehouse on the Calumet River. Voss's neutral ground pinged via encrypted app. Endgame. Abigail. Bring the kill code. Neutral my ass. His mercenaries waited in the rafters. Shadows like vultures. I went alone. Jamal's drone overwatched my ace. Sarah was there. Chained to a pallet jack. Voss pacing with that Luger reborn as a Beretta. You look tired. Kiddo, he sneered. Revenge ages a girl. Funny, I shot back. Thumb hovering over the detonator app. Suits you too. Old man. The worm's payload, not just exposure, but a global swap cascade, every neural implant in Apex's ecosystem flipping owners. Chaos as equalizer. Sarah's eyes pleaded. Don't.
Abby.
He has the master key. It'll erase us both. Voss laughed. Low and gravel. Smart girl. But she's lying. As always. He nodded to his goons, they advanced. Gunfire cracked, distracting bursts from Jamal's drone. Ziplines and flashbangs turning the warehouse into a funhouse hell. I lunged for Sarah, fumbling the chain keys. Her whisper hot. It was me or you. Forgive. No time. Voss cornered us. Barrel kissing my temple. Sign off the worm. Or brains for fertilizer. Decision 3. The abyss stare back. I triggered it partial, swaps firing in Apex Labs. Execs screaming as souls shuffled. Voss faltered. Phone buzzing with bored panic. In the melee, Sarah slipped free, grabbing a loose rebar, swinging wild. It connected with his knee. Crunch audible. He howled. Firing blind, bullet grazed my arm. Hot bloom. We ran, me hauling her. Traitors limp or not, into the gale. Calumet churning black beside us. Jamal's extraction van idled, doors yawning. But as we piled in, Sarah's hand in mine turned claw. She snatched the detonator. Eyes feral. Sorry.
Sis.
Loose ends. Betrayal's encore hit like whiplash, Sarah. In the van's dim cargo, jamming the full trigger before Jamal could wrench the wheel. The worm bloomed unchecked, neural nets worldwide glitching. Implants from Apex's consumer line, stress relief wearables. Executive focus spans, firing swaps in chain reactions. Reports flooded Jamal's dash feeds, a Wall Street broker waking in his barista's body mid-commute. A Detroit auto worker suddenly piloting a private jet over Lake Erie. Pandemonium. Hospitals overwhelmed. FAA groundings. X ablaze with soul swap apocalypse, vids of strangers screaming in mirrors. We ditched the van in a Gary, Indiana, scrapyard. Rusted hulks whispering Rust Belt ghosts. Sarah bolted first, faint or fracture. I couldn't tell, vanishing into chainlink shadows. Jamal patched my graze with a field kit, his face grim under sodium lamps. That bitch played us both. What's the play now? Exile. Full stop. Feds branded me domestic terrorist. Bounty at 5 mil. Sarah, the victim whistleblower, got a slap-on-wrist deal if she surfaced. Voss, coma in Cook County. Knee shattered. Mind possibly swapped with some orderlies. Poetic. If unconfirmed. I mourned the company we'd built. Now a smoking crater of lawsuits and congressional hearings. But grief fueled the fire, from a burner laptop in a South Side flophouse. I seeded counternarratives, podcasts under pseudonyms. Decoding the tech for hackers to democratize reversals. Controversial crusade. Arm the swapped. Let the masses judge the mighty. Weeks ground by in flux. Jamal and I hopscotch motels. From Joliet to the Indiana Dunes. His underground coder network our lifeline, tips on safe houses. Falsified dental records. My body rebelled. Phantom itches where her memories bled through. Flashes of her college regrets. Her abortion hushed to keep the sisterhood pristine.
Was I me?
Or mosaic. Therapy was a joke. Shrinks profiled as delusional post-trauma, but a rogue neuro from Chicago's fringe lab confirmed. Residual entanglements. Souls scarred like skin grafts. Sarah's shadow loomed. Dropped audio clips painted her as martyr. Abby was brilliant, but broken the glitch? Her idea? To expose Voss early. I took the blame to save her. Lies layered thicker than lake effect snow. Public swung. Justice for Sarah rallies in Daly Plaza. Pink pussy hats twisted into nooses for me. I countered with leaks, her Vegas vids. Time-stamped swap consent forms forged in my name. Mud fight. Souls as mud. The heartbreaker landed in a dingy Peoria diner. Jamal scanning headlines over hash browns. Your brother's talking, Mikey. The Milwaukee millwright I'd ghosted after mom's cancer ate our savings. Me too buried in code to grieve. Fox interview. Him teary. Clutching my ashes urn. Abby's alive? Then why'd she fake her death? Left us hanging. Guilt gut punched. I'd sent checks anonymously. But love?
Starved.
Decision 4. Go home. Risky as hell. Mikey's trailer in Cudahy, Wisconsin. A beige box overlooking Lake Michigan's slate chop. I arrived at dusk. Hoodie shadowing the face from wanted posters. Knocking soft. He opened. Beer in fist. Eyes bleary till recognition hit. Shotgun rack behind him. But he froze.
Ups.
Jesus fuck. We talked till the brewskis warmed, him raging my absence. Me unraveling the yarn ball of swaps and sins. Mikey. Ever the blue-collar anchor. Didn't flinch at the sci-fi. He'd seen mill buddies hollowed by opioids. Souls swapped for despair. Family's what you fight for. Not flee. His forgiveness cracked my armor. We plotted from his garage. His union hacks feeding intel on Apex's Rust Belt suppliers, weak links for sabotage. Sarah struck back via proxy, a hit in a Madison coffee shop. Barista accidentally dosing my latte with fentanyl-laced foam. I puked it out. Jamal's quick EpiPen saving the day. But the message screamed, she's hunting. Traces led to Voss's convalescent wing. Visitor's log. Her alias. A coma or not. He was puppeteering. Federal immunity, his carrot. Crescendo built in the Badlands, South Dakota's jagged spires. A neutral nowhere for the damned. Jamal's contact, a swapped ex-Apex engineer. Now in a trucker's beefy frame, hoarding reverser prototypes in a Black Hills bunker. Road trip catharsis, I-90 east to west. Cornfields yielding to prairies. Radio preaching end times fitting our apocalypse. Jamal drove. Playlist heavy on Springsteen, darkness on the edge of town. Anthems for the betrayed. The bunker reeked of solder and regret, walls papered in schematics. Cots for the body displaced. The engineer, calling himself Jax in his ill-fit skin, demoed the master reverser, Crow's holy grail. Stabilized. One shot. Global reset. But it needs a conduit, someone pure and tangled. Like you.
Me.
The glitch girl. Forever linked. Word spread in whispers, Sarah en route. Voss's jet touching down in Rapid City. Feds tipped by her honey traps. Showdown at midnight. Under a meteor shower streaking like neural fireworks. The site, an abandoned missile silo. Concrete mullining off Highway 44. Winds howling prophecies. We arrived first, me.
Jamal.
Jax and his ragtag swapped collective. A banker in a nurse's curves. A teen hacker towering in CEO girth. Armory light. Tasers. EMP grenades. Laptop launchers. Sarah rolled in convoy style. Black SUVs disgorging mercs in Apex polos, irony's bite. She stepped out last. Blonde dyed job shedding in the gusts. My old Beretta in gloved fist. Abby, let's end this sisterhood right. Voss trailed in a wheelchair. Fore-dripped and hollow-eyed. Swap coma half reversed. His mind a slurry. The key, he rasped. Or we bury you all. Negotiations frayed fast. Her demands for amnesty. My counter for trials. Shots cracked, mercs advancing. Jax's crew holding the silo rim. Chaos cascaded. EMP bursts frying drones. Bodies clashing in moonlit scrambles. I dove for the bunker core. Jax rigging the reverser to the silo's old warhead console. Poetic. Nuking souls instead of cities. Sarah cornered me in the control room. Gauges flickering green. You always were the hero. But heroes die alone. Her shot winged my shoulder. Pain blooming white. I tackled her. Nails raking. Years of sister lies spilling. The abortion? I held your hand. The glitch? I covered you. And this? I jammed the prototype injector into her thigh. Partial swap. Just enough to flood her with my memories. My griefs. She buckled. Eyes glazing twin vistas.
What?
Have you done? Given you perspective. Voss wheeled and then. Goons dragging Jamal limp, tossed. But breathing. Finish it, he croaked. The silo's heart thrummed like a dying engine. Fluorescent buzz underscoring Voss's wheeze. His mercs flanked the door. Barrels trained on Jax's collective, swapped souls huddled. Faces a gallery of stolen lives. Sarah writhed at my feet. The partial injection unraveling her facade. Flashes of my childhood bike crashes. Mom's chemo whispers. Bleeding into her sobs. I didn't want. It was him. She clawed toward Voss.
Accusation Ro.
You promised protection. He sneered. Oxygen mask fogging. Pawns don't negotiate.
Dear.
But his tremor betrayed the worm's echoes. Perhaps. Or age's toll. Jamal groaned. Stirring, I locked eyes with him across the scrum, nodding the signal. His hidden ankle trigger, a micro-EMP, scavenged from a dead merc's vest, pulsing silent. Lights died. Alarms wailed. In the blackout scramble, fists flew, Jax's banker nurse tackling a goon, the Teenan CEO hurling chairs like discus. I lunged for the console, fingers dancing code, full reverser launch, seeding the globe. Sarah's hand gripped my ankle, weak, but venomous.
Don't.
It'll take us with it. Us. I kicked free, pity souring to scorn. There is no us. Not since you chose his shadows over my light. Voss fired blind. Ricochets sparking panels. Jax went down. Gut shot. Gurgling.
Hit. It.
I did. The silo shuddered, not earthquake, but quantum quake, as the payload fired. Entanglements snapping worldwide. Souls recoiling to origins. Feeds on Jamal's backup tablet lit up. New York execs collapsing mid-meetings. Identities realigning in gasps. Tokyo salarymen blinking home in their own skins. Apex's black sites emptied. Volunteers pouring out. Dazed but whole. Sarah screamed. Hers a private hell. Memories colliding like freight cars. Voss slumped. Eyes rolling back. Autopsy later would call it neural overload, but we knew. Karma's cascade. His mercs faltered. Contracts voided by the chaos. Surrendering piecemeal as feds, alerted by our pre-drop manifest, swarmed the perimeter. Choppers thumping like judgment drums. Dawn broke bloody over the Badlands. Pinnacles etched gold. Medevacs airlifted the wounded. Jax made it. Barely. His original form waiting in a Pierre hospital. Jamal and I watched from a ridge. Arms slung. His bruises blooming purple. We won, he asked. Voice small. Won what? The world's still crooked. But the tide turned. Congressional probes dismantled Apex remnants. Neural tech banned under a hasty Soul Integrity Act. Sarah? Captured raving in the scrub. Tried in a media circus. Guilty on all counts. But her testimony cracked Voss's empire wide. Oligarch extraditions making headlines. She got life. No parole. In supermax isolation. Mirrors banned. Her greatest torment.
Me?
The twist inverted everything. Post-reversal scans revealed the truth. The initial swap wasn't permanent malice. But Voss's botched prototype. I was the saboteur. Unknowingly dosing her drink in Vegas paranoia. Suspecting her skim after an anonymous tip. The glitch cover? Mutual. Our pact twisted by his strings. Sarah hadn't stolen my life. We'd both been puppets. Her betrayal, a desperate bid to swap us back before the toxin locked. Elias's emails? Forged by Voss. Her texts? Coded pleas. The revelation dropped in a leaked psych eval. Leaked by me. Therapist's notes from her cell. Corroborated by Jax's dying hard drive. Public flipped again. Abby the villain to Twisted Sisters. Debates raging on pod saves and Reddit threads. Was I monster or dupe? Hero or hubris incarnate? I let it burn. Fading into obscurity. A adjunct prof at a small Wisconsin college. Teaching AI ethics to wide-eyed undergrads. Mikey's trailer my anchor. Ending? No tidy bow. Happy for some, the swapped reclaimed. Voss's ghosts exorcised. Tragic for others, Sarah and I. Echoes in each other's voids. Visiting rights denied but letters smuggled. Apologies in invisible ink. Controversial to the core. Did I avenge? Or avenge too far? The worm's legacy lingers. Underground reversers. Vigilante swaps on the dark web. Souls bartered anew. As for me, Abigail Hayes. Once dead. Always fractured. I stare into mirrors now, wondering whose eyes gaze back. Revenge taught me the ultimate hack, self-forgiveness. Glitchy as it comes. But in quiet Chicago nights, wind off the lake whispering sins. I wonder if we could swap one last time. Would I trade places? Hell yes.
To feel whole again.
Even for a heartbeat. The boardroom's empty now, but the game's eternal. Who's next to roll the dice?